There was two things for Tua that kind of stood out to me. One, the tackle, dog. I got to start with the tackle because you see him lower his helmet and trying to tackle the dude for the tackle. And I get he's making a football play. I'm like, dog, you have not spent enough time practicing with the defense to make that tackle.
My level of respect for Tua continues to grow because I'm like, bro, everyone's going to continue to put this narrative around you. Let the fucking guy play football and let him make a play.
The guy had a shiesty on. You know he was already meaning business, man. You seen him? He threw a pick. He like, fuck it, I'm finna go make the tackle. Tackle on the stat sheet. There you go. Now, we hold him to a field goal or hold it to no points. Like, they ain't scored last game. Man, I'll tip my hat to Tua, bro. He just keeps coming back. You know what I mean? Keeps scrapping harder. But yeah, I was definitely nervous.
Yes.
I was definitely nervous.
I appreciate the take, Dre, but what?
I was definitely nervous. I was like, damn. Tackle on the stat sheet. There you go. Now, we hold him to a field goal.
The guy deserves to play football, and I respect it.
All right.
They had to count down better.
That's hilarious.
Another Breaking House Rules week. This is the winner circle. Breaking House Rules. Finally back in the winner circle for the Dolphins. Fresh off a win over Monday Night Football against the Rams. How you feeling, Vaughn?
I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling so good that I'm taking this time to do this podcast in the facility because I just want to be here and absorb all the good energy from the W last night. It's needed. I'm feeling great.
And Dre joining us from Portugal. We all across the country.
Portugal. Oh my gosh.
Portugal. Unfortunately, I only caught the first half of that game. I tried to stay up. I've been on like 6 hours of sleep for the last 4 days, and I could not stay up. But I woke up to some good text this morning, and that shit got me going this morning. And I heard you got a sack, which I saw the highlight tape of that. So
yes, sir.
Bro,
yes,
I'm
sir.
hyped.
Yes, sir.
I'm fucking hyped.
Got you a little cafecito with that good morning text today. Yes, sir. Good morning, Dub.
I love it.
So, yeah, let's dive right into it. 23-15 win for the Fins over the Rams, and the defense led the day. Jevon, you had a big sack like we talked about, 4 sacks for the defense, a couple of turnovers. We've been waiting a few weeks. It's been a little bit of a sad few weeks on the pod. Can you take us into the emotions of that win?
Man, it really felt good just because it almost felt like we really got our feet underneath us finally. You know what I mean? Especially as a defense, like going out there, communication and our complete thought process going into the game. It felt really good, and everybody was on the same page. And it started with the week of practice that we had. And like I said last week, I felt that we did a lot of great things on the field, and we could build on those to then have an even better week the next week. And I think that's exactly what we did. And so it felt good from a front standpoint, from stopping the run, from communicating the back end, from getting routes passed off and turnovers being right in place for where we thought they were going to be. So I think our front seven did a phenomenal job. I think Weave did a phenomenal job putting together a game plan this week. So man, it was definitely difficult in the last couple of weeks with losses, but still building on those losses. But to have a win on Monday night primetime like that felt really good.
And so you talked about the big plays from the defensive front. I want to dive into some celebrations, dog, because Vaughn, you had a sack and you had a celebration that I think was maybe a niche for a lot of folks, but explain what it looked like, maybe redirecting lightning.
Yeah. So Avatar: The Last Airbender. There's a couple episodes where one of the main characters, Zuko, who his life purpose is to catch the Avatar, but really he ends up becoming friends. His uncle Iroh is like a very powerful warrior, and he taught him how to redirect lightning because Zuko is going to have to face his father, who can redirect lightning. So, the pregame, I'm talking to Isaiah Johnson and Patrick McMorris, and they both know anime. Mo as well knows anime, and so I'm like chopping it up. And I told him like, when I make a play, sack, pick, whatnot, fumble, strip, I'm gonna redirect lightning because I seen Cam Bynum like with all the celebrations, and obviously I've been out for a little bit, so I wanted to bring my own celebrations to the table. But yeah, that's the thought process that went into that. I just conjured it up the day before the game, and I was like, you know what, it's time.
That's
I had
dope.
to throw it out there. I was low key sick though because I did the redirecting back towards our defense. I needed to redirect it down back the other way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Zach was
Damn,
standing.
bro, you
Zach
sat
wasn't standing
our
in the
own
way,
defense.
but like Zach was like standing like with me pointing, which was a fire pick. But I wish I would have just faced like the end zone and done it like that. Then that'd have been fire.
Yeah, but you got a bunch of anime lovers at home that was like, I got that.
Yeah,
I got that.
They caught it. I appreciate that. One dude kept commenting, he's like, bro, you're a weeb. I was like, hey, it's just who I am. Weeb is like a individual who loves anime and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, there was a lot of celebrations though. A lot of celebrations. Chop celebration. There's he had thrown it out there one time before, and I think it was last game in Buffalo, and he and I went up to him and I was like, bro, you got to take your time on the chop. Like you got to really show the people you picking up the axe, wide hands, then you close hand axe it. You know what I mean? So when he did that, I'm like 20 yards behind him, and I seen him get the sack. I'm already celebrating, and I seen him like kind of wait, pause for a second, go from the ground and chop. I had to add in. So when we got to the sideline, it was dope to be able to talk about it. But I was happy for him. Definitely.
The video of that was amazing, bro. Like you mentioned, everybody seemed synchronized. Like y'all had practiced the chop. And I kept thinking about Anthony Weaver. He had said earlier this week when he was earlier last week when he was talking about Chop getting a sack on the Bills. He was like, "You got chopped up," and I just thought about that phrase as he's doing the celebration of "you got chopped up," and that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool to have your name that you can have literally translate to your celebration.
Yeah,
no, definitely.
Hey, 2 weeks in a row with a sack too for him. That's huge.
Yep.
Yeah, dude, he's doing great. He's coming to his own. He's getting his feet underneath him, and he's progressing every week. So I'm excited to see how he continues to get better.
Yeah. The last celebration that didn't work as well. Tyreek Hill was trying a wrestling celebration with Odell Beckham. I think they were trying to do like a DDT type deal. And so Tyreek lands on his back after the game. He said, "I hurt my back a little bit. That's the last time I'm doing a celebration with Odell." The number one rule of celebrations is you don't get hurt on a celebration, right?
You can't get hurt on a celly.
When I saw that after, I'm like, "Yo, Reek, like, why are we pulling these type of stunts right now when you're already kind of tweaked up with your hand?" I'm like, "We don't need this. So it's not necessary."
For the love of the game.
Sometimes you miss.
Getting hurt during the celebrations, probably top 10 worst things that could happen, no doubt. I'll never forget. I can't remember what game it was. Bro, like got a sack, jumped in the air, and was like, and like popped his knee or something. Immediately went down.
College football game. I remember
college
that.
Football. College football. So, bro, that's the worst because you're just at a high and then you get hurt. That's the worst ever.
Yeah. I want to spend a little time talking about Calais Campbell because 38 years old, he's been balling. He had a heck of a game last night. He tweeted out a picture of LeBron, like the LeBron picture, and said Monday Night Football, like locked in. And then he comes in, not only gets a sack, but has a tip pass at the line of scrimmage that leads to an interception. 38 years old, still making plays. My thought is like the tip pass in particular. I don't think there's a lot of people that understand maybe the value of that particular play and getting your hands up for your defense.
Yeah, man. I think batted balls are my favorite type of PBU. No matter what happened on the back end, passing line of scrimmage, it could be disarray back there. Somebody could be blown coverage, wide open. As soon as the ball's batted down, it's just a level of ease and relaxation that you get. And I think when your front can get their hands up and cause disruption from the ball and tip balls, overthrows, things like that, I think it adds opportunity for interceptions. You know what I mean? And I think that's exactly 100%. What happened. Did he tip AWOC's pick?
Yeah, that was the one that ended to AWOC.
He had two tips, I think. One that was almost a pick, and then that one.
So that formation that they had run, we're in the defense where I could like cut AWOC, right? Mm-hmm. And in practice, we had gone over that. Like I had asked the question because I wanted to make sure that it was a specific way that we could cut him. And in practice, I told him like, look, as soon as he goes vertical, come off it because I'm going to be able to cut, and they're going to throw it right in that window. And lo and behold, in the game, that same thing happened. I cut him, And I'm not even seeing that he got a pick until I turn around and look at the Jumbotron where I'm looking at the tight end because that's my man now. And I look up, see it, and I was more excited than him, bro. I was so juiced because I knew that I was the reason that happened, and I'm glad that he was in that position because we talked about it, and he just took advantage of it. And then Calais to even add that and tip that ball went right to him. So I think A-Walk deserves all that, bro. He's been playing at a high level, and I'm just excited to see him be out there and like fly around, man. He was doing great.
Yeah, I think it's dope when, like you said, you contributed directly to somebody else's turnover, but they get to still have that enjoyment of it too, So it's cool for Anthony Walker too. Like thrust into the starting lineup a couple weeks ago. He's been able to elevate his play, being able to have leadership there, hometown kid. So cool for him as well. I do want to talk about Tua a little bit. I know, defense led this game, so, it wasn't about the offense as much, but there was two things for Tua that kind of stood out to me. One, the tackle, dog. I got to start with the tackle because I think like everyone else, he throws the pick, and hey, picks happen. He threw a couple picks, had a rough second quarter, but made up for it at some point. But my what the heck moment is you see him lower his helmet and trying to tackle the dude for the tackle, and I get he's making a football play. I'm like, dog, you have not spent enough time practicing with the defense to make that tackle.
I definitely got some thoughts on that. I'm gonna actually kind of disagree with it.
Okay.
Because so 2 weeks in a row, Tua has made a play that people felt inclined to make a decision on what he should have done. Last week against Buffalo, it's a 4th and 5. And everyone's saying that he should have slid. What the hell is he doing diving head first? If Tua doesn't make that play diving head first, we don't get a first down there, and we don't keep that drive down 7, right? That's a football play. That's a guy that is, no matter what the hell has been going on with his whole concussion thing, he's still going out there and he's still putting his body on the line. Then I see Tua make that tackle this week. My level of respect for Tua continues to grow because I'm like, bro, everyone's going to continue to put this narrative around you. Let the fucking guy play football and let him make a play. Like, I get it. Like, it sucks that he's putting his body on the line and you don't want that. But at the end of the day, I think Tua's sending a message that he's like, I get what my whole concussion thing is. I'm still going to do everything to help this team win. And I think there's a level of respect that you got to let the guy play football. It's football at the end of the day. And what are you going to tell the guy to do? You're going to tell him to slide and not get a first down? You're going to tell him to not make a tackle that's going to maybe save a touchdown? Yeah, it might come at the expense and you want him to be healthy, but the guy deserves to play football, and I respect it.
Nah, I respect it too, bro. I mean, fuck. The guy had a shiesty on. He was already meaning business, man. He had the shiesty on this game. He was like, fuck it, I'm finna go out there and I'm finna take a nigga out. I ain't tripping. So, shit, that's what happened. You seen him, he threw a pick. He like, fuck it, I'm finna go make the tackle. Tackle on the stat sheet. There you go. Now, we hold it to a field goal or hold it to no points. Like, they ain't scored last game.
Yeah.
And that attributed to it. Like, he got him down and gave the defense the opportunity to make play. So, man, I tip my hat to it, bro. He just keeps coming back. You know what I mean? Keeps scrapping harder. But I was definitely nervous.
Yes.
I was definitely nervous.
I appreciate the take, Dre, but what?
I was definitely nervous. I was like, damn. Hey, brother. But I feel him, though. I mean, hey, you want to crash out? Crash out. I'll be tackling the same way, so shit.
Hey.
Here's what it is.
Hey, man, I get you, Dre, and he does have the aura of the shiesty. I think he's got braids. That's why he's wearing it, but it looks a cool vibe on him. But just for the heart of everybody else, including myself, who doesn't want to cover another Tua concussion, just go out of bounds next time. Like, just get in the way. Just do the quarterback get in the way, slow him down, let somebody else tackle him.
Wrap and roll.
Yeah. I guess last one here on the Dolphins game here. Obviously, a lot of people are going to talk playoffs, right? Of can you guys make the run? I think we slow that down a little bit. It's just one win. We got to stack them. But I gotta get a perspective of the plane ride home in this morning. What is the talk? What are you guys talking about on the way back?
Super Bowl,
bro.
Super Bowl.
Super Bowl or bust the whole way out. We just got, bro, honestly, everybody's in the same mindset. We just like, bro, we just got to win out. Like, that's all it is. We just got to take it week by week and how we played, how the defense played. Like, we know how it looks now. We know how it feels, and we got to just keep stacking on top of that. The communication and all that has got to be on point, and we can win these games, man. We got to just play our brand of football. That's literally it. And also on the ride home, we was all vibing out to Rod Wave. Tua had the speaker on him, so, that was
okay, a little Rod Wave action.
A little Rod Wave action on the way home, you know what I'm saying? But, we got back super early. Go. Oh,
The
go
thing,
ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, no, the complementary football. It's something we've been talking about the last 4 episodes or so.
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
that was the game, And I was a little weary there in the beginning. I'm like, fuck, bro, the defense is hooping right now, and the offense is going to come turn the ball over twice in a row. They look great on that first drive, but I'm like, are we really going to do this again? Where defense is balling, offense is not going to play, and then we saw it last week. Offense hooped, defense didn't, and I'm like, fuck, bro, we're going to do this again. But here we were. And we bounced back and we played great football in every facet of that game. And you saw it. And that was the missing link with this team the last couple of weeks. It was like a play away and we didn't make those mistakes. And if we did, we were able to overcome them because defense bailed out offense, offense bailed out defense. And it was a great game.
It was. There was also a lot of great ball around the league. And I know we got, you're in Portugal, Dre. Von, you're in the facility grinding, getting your body right. And so we're going to be a little shorter this week, but I did want to take a little look around the league and some things that made me, the Holland segment right here. I want to start with this. Colts quarterback situation. It's been wild for me to see what's going on in Indy. Anthony Richardson got benched for Joe Flacco a couple of weeks ago. And there's a podcast called Heed the Call. And they had a little calling me out because I had a tweet talking about Anthony Richardson had got less patience from the Colts at 22 with 10 starts than 39-year-old Joe Flacco, who has 193 starts and has now had the two worst games of the Colts season. It said, hey, that's a looking back take. That's everyone has a Twitter eco space take. That was what Dan on Heat the Call said. I got some things there. This is not a retrospect take. It was a bad decision by the Colts, in my view, from the start. You draft a quarterback top 5 overall last year. You give him 10 games to play, and then you bench him because it's not going great. You said it wasn't the tap out. If it's a tap out, I could take one game sitting them down, but you said it wasn't a tap out. I don't understand what the long-term development plan is for your quarterback. You're in a situation where Joe Flacco is not taking you anywhere this year or in the future. Who is going to be your future? And you invest in a player. You got to develop them. And a lot of times quarterbacks fail because of the situation they're put in, the coaches they're put in, and less about who they are talent-wise. And unfortunately for Anthony Richardson, we're seeing that he ended up in a bad spot for him in India, a spot that did not spend a lot of time of developing him the right way. And who knows, maybe Anthony Richardson will never be a great starting quarterback. He has not had necessarily the smoothest start, but this is not the right way, in my view, develop a starting quarterback. And this is not a retrospect take. This is a take I've had from the jump. And the reality is the Colts should not make short-term decisions, whether it's for job security or elsewhere, because of situations like now. They have now lost 2 games. They now don't know who their quarterback is. And you now have people in the locker room who are questioning what the decision-making process is. And so I'm not a fan of what's going on in Indy, and I'm also not a fan of people feeling like they got to take up for the Colts and their decision making because Anthony Richardson had a rough few games to start his career.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think. Yeah. Well, you're a big Anthony Richardson guy to begin with, so I get where you're coming from. It's a strange situation because Flacco's clearly not the future there. Whether or not he's playing great or whether he's playing terrible. He's just not that, he's not that guy. But Anthony Richardson hasn't really shown enough for them to be able to make that decision whether or not he should be the future. And if you're going to sit here and watch Joe Flacco play the way like he did against, it's a good Buffalo defense, but you can't think that Joe Flacco is going to be the guy that's going to take you to a Super Bowl. So why not run with Anthony Richardson a little bit longer and just let him develop, like you said, right? Because there is no development plan there.
Teach him what he doesn't know.
Absolutely. I mean, you've got an individual who's got all the arm talent, who's got all the physical capabilities. Obviously, has a level of NFL level quarterback skills. So get the people around him to develop them and see how it goes. I mean, I feel like this is a time now, especially with the way that drafting quarterbacks has gone, that guys get drafted and they are looked at to come in and change the program around. And in recent years, there has been very little quarterbacks that have come in and immediately changed the program around in the first year. But there also have been, and I think the fact that a lot of programs have seen other quarterbacks, immediately change the program's trajectory. They expect that from most guys, but in the reality, I feel like, rookies need time to develop Second-year players need time to develop. And even if they are doing well their first year, they're still going to have some difficulties, some sophomore slumps, things like of that nature that they need time to consistently grow and develop into veteran leadership.
For sure. Josh Allen needed time. He needed 2 years to become the guy. What if they gave up on him after 2 years? Caleb Williams is going through his own struggles. They didn't bench Caleb Williams. They made an offensive coordinator change to Thomas Brown to give a different play caller in there. You adjust to your rookie quarterback. You don't give up on him after 10 games. My next take, I have Deebo Samuel this week. Had a moment where he pushed his long snapper after the field goal kicker missed 3 field goals, Jake Moody. After the game, Deebo said he was trying to hold Moody accountable, telling him to lock in. And he responded with the push to the long snapper, said he may have overreacted in frustration. Thoughts?
I don't think it's anything crazy. I think that's a reasonable thought process and way to go about it. I mean, if I was getting messed up, if somebody bombed me for a touchdown, an individual on the team would walk up to me and be like, "Yo, bro, lock in. We need you." So I feel like that's the same thing. If the long snapper or Jake Moody felt uncomfortable, or if they felt, disrespected by those actions, then that's a personal thing that they got to look inward about. Because at the end of the day, everybody's trying to hold each other to the same standard. So if he felt the need and to go up to him and say something to him, then he felt right in his way to go uphold the standard that the coach sets. So if he's missing field goals, you got to lock in and do your job.
I agree, but what do you think about making contact with another player?
Yeah, no, I don't think he needed the push, bro. Like I seen the clip, they pushed him or whatnot. But if the long snapper
because the long snapper didn't receive it well either. He started chirping something back to him too.
Yeah, they got beef. Like they was beefing. So I don't think it needs to get physical. I think there's definitely a way to go about it. But the thought process and the meaning behind it, I mean, it makes sense. But I don't think make contact with them. Of course.
The only thing I think about there, and it's really interesting to me, the relationship between special teams players and the rest of the team. They're separated for most of the practice week, the game. It's very much, you got one job type mindset. And so a lot of times when you don't do that job, I think it can be frustrating for the rest of the team. I've seen that, elsewhere. Deebo shouldn't have shoved the dude, but I can understand the perspective of you got one job. You can tell him to lock in. And the long snapper's just being big brother at that point. He's trying to defend his guy. So I just think that's a animosity thing that probably happens more than we see in practice. But we just saw it on live TV in the game setting. Yeah. Last one for me, and I'll let y'all fellas go. Cowboys versus the Sun. It's been a rough year for the Cowboys. This week, their biggest opponent seemed to be Jerry Jones Stadium in the Sun. There was a play where CeeDee Lamb had an open for a touchdown. The sun, the way that comes through the Cowboy Stadium, it was blaring to where CeeDee said he couldn't see the ball. CeeDee, after the game, told reporters they should 1,000% have curtains, so that's not an issue. Jerry Jones was like, "What the heck? Do y'all want me to build a new stadium? That's not going to happen."
God damn Jerry Jones, bro.
So clearly the Sun's going to continue to win, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when I was in high school, my receiver coach, J.J. Stokes, played for the Niners. He said the Sun's been there for 1,000,000 years, just catch it. But at the end of the day, I mean, how do you do it? It's reflection coming through. It's right in the end zone that could have maybe changed the trajectory of the game. The sun's in his eyes. He can't catch it. You got to do something about it. You got to help your players. Help your players help you.
Exactly, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. If your players are complaining about something, you got to help them out. It's just the reality of the fact.
Yeah.
It's crazy that we're talking about the Sun affecting your players and your owners. Like, the Sun been there for a while. Y'all knew it was going to be here. Deal with it.
That doesn't surprise me from Jerry Jones.
Integrity? Nah. He's like, the Sun is a vibe when it comes through. It looks too good. Y'all deal with it.
Yeah, I don't want the aesthetics of a curtain. It's crazy. Cowboy season hasn't gone well. Dak Prescott's now out for the year, and they still have to contend with the Sun. But that's it for us this week. A little quick episode recapping the Dolphins win, and we'll be back here next week for a Breaking House Rules.
Let's go, baby. Super Bowl.